As Nigeria inches closer to the 2027 general elections, the political landscape is once again witnessing a wave of defections and realignments across party lines. For many Nigerians, especially the youth, this shift raised critical questions about ideology, leadership integrity, and the future of governance in our country, Nigeria. Joining me to discuss this is Deji Mike Adebayo, a dynamic, passionate youth advocate. He's a member of the APC. He's a businessman as well. Now, in this conversation, we'll explore implications of the ongoing defections to the APC, the party's readiness for the 2027 general elections, how the current economic realities are also shaping political perceptions, and especially the evolving role of Nigerians in determining the nation's political future. Many thanks for joining us on Joasanye Live this beautiful evening. Well, Deji, thank you so much for being part of the show.
Thank you for having me.
Now, behind the scenes, like I always do, but I guess I was asking why my introduction particularly picked out APC as the party everyone seemed to be defecting to. And my response, you would already guess it. No. But in truth, in all truth, yeah. We also, some weeks ago, saw the defection to the ADC coalition and all of that. Yes, I did see that. But what's recent in the news is the defection to the APC. That seemed to be constant. As a matter of fact, the media has tagged it as Tinubu tsunami. Okay. Tinubu tsunami. But first of all, let's get down to it. Mr. Adebayo, I mean, you've seen this wave of defection, or what they call Tinubu tsunami, to the APC in recent times. What do you think is driving this trend, especially at a time when a lot of Nigerians will say we're not particularly doing better economically? A lot of Nigerians will tell you that they are worse off after some policies that is economically having them tight their belts, like they often say.
Okay. Well, the truth of the matter is, yes, I agree with you. The economy is not as good as it used to be, but I'm not a spokesperson for the president. But I think there are some policies that he's making that's helping to realign our country. Errors have been made, but corrections and progress also being made at the same time. If you ask me as a young Nigerian and as a young politician, I will tell you that there's never been any political era where the economy became better. What I mean by better is our currency has never grown as it used to be. We are always growing in GDP and what have you. So I don't want us to analyze it based on that aspect.
Right.
Yeah. But talking about the political defection, you see, I always tell my fellow youths out there that our elderly ones have made a mistake. You know, most of our parents, in their time, they wanted to be civil servants and what have you and whatever. But thank God for the advancement in technology and everything. Now we have entrepreneurs, we have content, we have everybody just doing things, and now you are independent of yourself and you can decide for yourself. Back in the days, people joined politics for the sake of they want to eat. But in my generation, most of us have something doing first before even joining politics. So we're not following the bandwagon. We're doing what we think we can do in clear conscience. As to why do we think people are defecting? Well, it's very simple. There are some things that are more realistic, and if you want to analyze them, you have to be objective about it.
Okay, I'm hoping for your objectivity.
Okay, yeah, this is me being objective. Politically speaking, and in short, generally in the works of life, if you're a medical personnel and you're working for a medical facility, and that facility is not giving you what you need, or you don't see your career or your future here, you move to the next, or you look for a better facility. Same as a lawyer moving from one law firm to another. Same as even a mechanic or a barber. It's a career. So if I'm in a party and I feel my goals and aspiration, it's not about, what was the question now? I feel my goals and aspiration will not be achieved there. It's not aligning with this party, even though I'm already there. I can simply move. But you see, things about life is, if you want to see, what I've discovered over the years, if you want to look at things from the negative side or something, you have points to work with. If you're looking at the positive side, you have reasons to.
No, but I'm hoping that you're looking at the objective side.
I'm looking at it neutrally, objectively.
So what you have alluded to right now is that there are crises in other political parties.
A lot of
and
parties,
the APC seem to be the most stable. Is that, am I
right
getting
now,
you
that
right?
is what it looks
and
like.
now, if that is the case, what would you say to the allegation also that the president, I mean, he even responded to that allegation and he made Nigerians laugh, the president is speculated to internally feel some of the internal rifts that some political parties have. Look at Labour Party, for instance.
Yeah.
We've had factions, a parallel leadership in the Labour Party.
Okay.
One party has has openly accused our president of being the cause of some of the rift within it. Look at the NNPP having factional leadership as well. We see PDP at the moment. I don't know where PDP is because I don't know if it's PDADC.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But what would you say when you hear people say the APC is intentionally fueling this rift within political parties just so that it will become, like I saw in the news yesterday, the accusation that APC wants a one-party state?
Well, if answering the question, what I think about APC having a hand in the rift, well, I wouldn't want to base my discussion on rumors, because as far as I'm concerned, these are rumors. There are no stated facts. But in the political circle, every party wants to be at the top. There's no politician that want to go somewhere and remain as opposition, and anyone that has the capacity will do what they have to do. For example, even the APC of today, they came from other parties, the ACN and what have you, and they came as a force. ADC tried to do that. They're trying to form a coalition. Who knows what happens? They might become the political earthquake we are expecting. And others will learn.
With the defections we are recording, are you still, or you're being sarcastic?
No, I'm being realistic now. No, who knows?
No, it seems like you're being sarcastic when you say who knows.
Of course,
because I mean, we're talking about the massive defection to the APC.
Yeah, okay.
And we're talking about defections within governors. These are people with not just resources, but you know, structures in the Nigerian political term. So when you say who knows, please, are you being sarcastic?
No, I'm not being sarcastic. I'm just being realistic.
Right.
Anything could happen. But see, the truth of the matter, regardless of whatever we want to think, planning is key. I am not a noble spokesman. I'm not, as a Mr. President, with due respect, I'm not a spokesperson. But if you follow his antecedents, you realize that this man has been planning for a long time. Do you understand? Yes. And eventually, when it was time, everybody came and aligned. Are you with me? Right. Because if he had sacrificed in the days of AD, then ACN, then they came and formed the party and he stood in the backdrops, giving the necessary support, it's only natural that at this point in time, when he's there, people will even be speaking for him in his absence. Because they've seen his pedigree, they've tested him, he has shown his doggedness, which is very, very necessary in the political system in Nigeria today. You have to make up your mind and face the consequences, make the judgment. Like when he removed the subsidy, he knew it was going to be very challenging, even though we didn't think it was going to be this serious. But he was willing to make a decision and take the responsibility. Do you understand? One-party system, you and I know that regardless of whatever anybody does now, it's not going to work in Nigeria for now. Maybe the next 20 years, yes. But as of now, everybody have...
systematically, systematically it could work where the other parties are such in disarray that the only party actually that is working is going to be one political party. Maybe not constitutionally, but systematically, and that's where the concern is. But do you, in your objective analysis, because that's what you've promised me.
Yes, that's what I'm doing.
You've promised me.
Yes.
Does it also concern you, for our democracy's sake, not just for a win for the APC, for our democracy's sake?
For our democracy's sake.
Is it a healthy trend for political parties, for a political party to be as strong as the APC is at the moment?
The PDP was very, very strong for 16 years.
But they had a run for their money with the opposition, the likes of the president. The president being the part of the opposition. Have you forgotten Transformation Nigeria?
Yes.
Have you forgotten all that was done to unseat the president at the time? As strong as Jonathan.
Other parties have to come and form how would I put it? They have to come together to unseat him.
I'm telling you, I'm just pointing out that the times you're still mentioning, they had a run for their money. At this moment, we do not have, but for the lone voice, maybe sometimes we see the criticism that comes from the likes of former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. Once in a while, you listen to the criticism that comes from Peter Obi. But they had a run for their money. They didn't have this massive defection of strong individuals. We had a Tinubu at opposition.
Yeah.
We don't seem to have that at the moment. So does it also concern you for the health of our democracy?
Oh, well, it does. But I don't think there's any need for panic. Because
Okay.
you see, for you to be able to conquer any opposition, be it in the war front or in political circle, there have to be somebody from the opposition that's an insider that works for you. So, and there will always be that. If for example, if the ADC wants to penetrate the APC or the ADC wants to penetrate the PDP, yes, they will do the other external factors like being presentable, organizing themselves, but having people insiders that will help them give information,
Right.
destabilize the party. This is a constant thing in human nature. And in a Nigerian political circle, it's always there. So I don't see the possibility
Of course,
one party taking charge.
We agree that the scheming that comes
naturally,
with politics should be expected. Absolutely.
Yeah,
As a matter of fact, I don't even like the defeatist stance where you tell yourself, oh, the APC has taken over, the APC is doing this, and so you don't put that much effort into, working hard. Is a game of numbers. But I'm about to say something as on the internet. Make una take pity. Leave a governor or two. Leave a governor or two.
Okay.
No,
there's never a way where one party.
What do you think the negotiations are? Because we also hear speculations that interests.
Okay.
The governors are being promised interest. I'm not saying it's illegal or is anything bad. It's part of politics. What I am saying is that does that also make the political party and the APC strong enough? Because if you have so many bigwigs, chances are interest would clash.
Yeah, sure.
So does it also concern you that the APC may not come out better off after 2027? Because, I mean, if you promise me re-election and you promise another person because you want everybody in the fold, that same position, we've had instances where I have a conversation with somebody who tells me, listen, I have been a strong member of this political party. I ran in this state, but the state was at the time not an APC state. Now it is an APC state, and one of the reasons why that was one of the things that was promised the executive governor is that he will get his way with re-electing his people.
Okay.
So where then lies me, who has been very faithful, loyal to the party and driving membership for the party in my state. So I already can see from where I'm sitting that, if we are not careful, there may be exactly. So is this something that also you have thought about?
Well, I don't. For me, I still maintain my stand. I don't think it calls for concern because at the end of the day, if you don't work, you don't achieve. No matter who promises you what, if after the promises have been made and yourself you go to sleep, you won't achieve that. Let me give you an example. Like the last election, that's kind of destabilized the PDP now. The presidential candidate for the PDP was promised a lot of things against the APC, and it gave him that level, with due respect to him, it gave him that level of, he was kind of relaxed. He wasn't really fighting back, and he was becoming nonchalant. That's brought about what is happening today.
Right.
You can see Wike pulled out, Obi pulled out, and that has brought about what is happening today.
Right.
Look at if we had one house where the PDP, we had Obi there, we had Wike there, and Atiku himself was humble enough to keep everybody together.
It would have been tough,
here.
exactly.
Yes, it wouldn't be here. But you see, our political system, we're learning. We're learning because no matter how long we think our political democracy has been, we're still very young. And it's a pointer for we, the younger generations, to look at and learn from the mistake of those ahead of us, so we can adjust. And it's also that will teach the younger ones coming behind us to adjust.
Absolutely.
But I don't see a one-party system happening in Nigeria unless there's a constitutional amendment to that, which I don't even know how that's going to work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then what then would you say about weakened ideological consistency and deepening political opportunities for every other person? I mean, if we have so many people defecting to one political party, young people, shouldn't they be concerned? You are in the young, the youth.
You can say that. You can say that.
Absolutely.
You can say that.
But I can't. I'm not even patronizing you, except to think otherwise.
Well, I wouldn't know.
I think you you are in the youth constituency.
Yes, I
Does
am.
it also concern you that it would not give room for, opportunities for young people, as we have been advocating and speaking about over and over?
You see, unfortunately, our political structure in Nigeria was never built on ideology. It was just built on
Interest.
interest, yes. Mission, vision, statement, and that was it.
Exactly.
Nobody was like, this is the idea. We're going to change. We don't
Yeah.
need
I am left wing or right
the
wing
answer.
or
So
exactly.
eventually, that is what is panning out. So when we begin to compare our democracy, our leadership, our democracy system with countries that have built their democracy on ideology, we will get it wrong, which is what I'm saying. Unless people begin to come together to now say, okay, let's create an idea. Like I think Shewore is doing that, but it's playing out the way it's playing for him because he's looking at it from the ideological part. But guess what? He also will move from one party to another if this party is not protecting his interests, or if it doesn't look like he's going to achieve what he want to achieve in this party. We have a lot of parties in Nigeria. It's not a 5-party system, not 10. Do you understand? So it gives room for movement. So I don't think this issue of APC or Tinubu trying to make it a one-party state systematically, like you said.
No, I'm just saying that it could also be systematic.
Where he's trying to get enough. Every politician wants to have numbers. Everybody wants, because politics is a game of numbers.
Right.
Everybody wants to have more supporters as they want. The governors are being promised, like you said. Okay, I don't know if you permit me to come down to FCT.
Oh, absolutely.
Good. The AMAC chairman, who happens to be a close friend of mine, he also won under the political PDP, and he defected to the APC. Yes, a lot of people have come to say they've promised him it will be a walkover, or vote will not be counted, it will just be declared and all of that. But he himself knows that's not going to work. Because, believe you me, for FCT, for example, AMAC precisely, we are more enlightened. So he understands he needs to walk the talk, doesn't just talk.
Absolutely.
And believe you me, if he had defeated the opposition while we were in the PDP and is now in the APC, it would be easier for him to have walked over. But guess what? He's doing more of the work now than before.
Absolutely.
And that is what we're advising everybody across board to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's very important to mention. And then you have just talked about numbers. Everybody is out looking for numbers.
Yeah.
Do you think that Nigeria, if we have the general elections done today and now, while the bigwigs, the public office holders, while you have almost all the governors in the APC, these thoughts reflect to the grassroots? If I learned anything from the just concluded general elections, is that, you may have a governor who is governor in a political party, but that's not the thoughts of the followers or the grassroots members,
No.
So we've also had APC members address this issue, warning the APC not to get complacent. Just because you have the governors join does not mean work is not supposed to be done for the grassroots. But does it also concern you too that we are here, or the APC is excited about the movement of governors, but what's going on? What is the pulse of the people?
Yeah, if you ask me, it's going to be a lot of challenge for the APC to just, if there's an election now, like you said, to win. It has to do, because there are a lot of dynamics involved in winning an election.
Absolutely.
From there's voter apathy for those people that just like the party, and then there are those that are looking at the reality of the economy and the future of the country. So, but I think if there's not much time, but there's still time for a lot of things to happen. And you see, what I have discovered over the years, when policies are made for the good of the people, it doesn't begin to cause effects right now.
Absolutely.
Understand? Unless it is things that has to do with individuals. How do I mean? Like when the fuel rises up, since it is the individuals that are managing,
exactly.
you begin to feel the heat.
Right.
But when policies are made, it has to go through the government's pattern, like the civil servant have to implement and all of that. It takes a while.
Right.
Understand? But I think between now and 2026, before the election, a lot of Nigerians will begin to see and feel the pulse of the positive efforts of the leadership of the APC.
I mean, you're not the first person saying this.
Okay.
Almost as if a lot of the policies that had caused hardship was intentional. Oh, just hold on. Right before elections, you would see and we're confident that Nigerians will now see the changes and all. Did you intentionally?
Okay. Did I? Did the leadership? Well, I don't think it was
Did the
intentional.
leadership of the political party, the presidency, was it a calculated move to say, you know what, let's make these tough economic decisions,
Okay.
and these are economic projections that says in 2 years we'll begin to reap the
Dividends of
dividends
democracy.
of democracy, or there's going to be an artificial boom, sort of, where food prices would suddenly crash, and foods and services will crash. And you know, and I know that government has the mechanism to push an artificial boom,
Yeah.
just so that between a certain time to elections, people are like, oh, but he said it and it's working now. So what are you doing to ensure that, or what would you say your response to that is? Is it intentional, or this is coming from economic projections?
Well, I think first of all, it was there's nobody that will intentionally create hardship. But I think I personally, I don't have any personal relationship with the president, but I've understudied him, how he worked in Lagos. Yeah, if the cost of living in Lagos have gone since before now, but eventually Lagos is better off for it by virtue of their GDP, security, and otherwise. That is taking shape in Nigeria now. If you look at before he became the president and made that decision, I won't want to say erroneous decision, but a decision that we're feeling the heat now, Nigerians, we are not ready for it. He himself, I don't think the system was ready for that. But obviously, he had plans. That's why now we can see that our GDP has grown.
Right.
Check what the governors are being given today
Right.
across border, all the states. It has never happened.
It has tripled.
Good.
But I have also used in this platform. I have often criticized that move.
Right,
To say,
okay.
yes, to say that Nigerians at the time did not need governors to have more in their pockets. I expected that the president, for instance, if transport is a very important component of government
daily life,
and, in our daily lives, and a good transport structure would trickle down in the reduction of foods and prices of products and services. That's the 101 economy. So if the president had channel that money into subsidizing movement, providing buses and subsidizing movement across board. Say those monies went into interstate travels and all of that while we wait for the CNG, because I supported the removal of fuel subsidy 100%.
Okay.
I thought the former president did not have the guts to do it, and I was pushing for the removal. Let's have correct facts. I supported the floating of the dollar.
Okay.
Let's have correct facts. Let us fight and produce and be productive in our country to strengthen our naira, not artificially.
Okay.
Right? I supported those initiatives of government, but I also thought there would be an expedited level. You are in Abuja, the state's capital, the federal capital territory. It's going to be it's going to be whenever work is over, you see how people still suffer to move around.
I see. Yeah, I do.
And that is because people who were able to use their vehicles had to park them. Some had to sell their vehicles because it no longer made sense to drive around. You would be shooting yourself in the foot. So I criticized the move to increase governors' funds, because the president can increase but does not have the powers to ensure that these monies are used in the state for these and these and these and these. He doesn't have the powers to do that. So is it something that he would for one time consider retrace his steps? And I have also heard that this president doesn't want to retrace his steps.
Okay, now to answer this, we're practicing a democratic system of government.
Absolutely.
It's not military or totalitarian. The president, even though he's the number one citizen of the country, has limits to his powers.
Absolutely.
Good. Veto power doesn't cover you overruling a governor.
A governor, absolutely.
Unless there's a reason for that. Yes.
Right?
So, but now these things he's doing, they're constitutional. Unless there's a constitutional amendment, he can't change them.
But I'm asking if you still stand by that that move.
The move is
triple allocations to governors.
Is the constitutional thing to do.
Constitutional?
Yes.
Compelled?
Yes.
Compelled?
No, constitutional.
I'm asking if he was compelled.
No, he wasn't compelled. He had to. because it is what the country generates per time that he shares among the 36 states and the FCT.
Right.
Do you understand? Okay, now look at what he has done. Let's look at FCT, for example. The present minister was able to request for an IGR, internally generated revenue, right? And he has put that money into constructing roads, building bus terminals, that is, has CNG.
Absolutely.
These are cushioning effects to the issues. They are already. Because a lot of people are benefiting from it, even those that have parked their cars, because we're getting better transportation system. We are. We're not there yet. We're not yet there.
Right.
I'm not saying we are completely there, but we're getting there. So that's that. Then for the governors, it's up to the governors. You see, and that is the issue. When there are problems at the state level or as local, it goes straight to the president. We have been, for me, I've been mentoring my fellow youths. The first point of call is the area council, the councillor, then the chairman. Because of course now the president, some of the policies, like I said, is we now have the governors, the local government getting their own allocation directly, which is the policy.
You will come back to have that conversation.
Okay, fine. Which is one of the policies we're talking about that are helping us.
Into the local government financial
Then
autonomy.
go to the market. I think goods and services are coming down.
Right.
Prefer mostly rice. Like rice is one major thing Nigerians eat every day.
And that is why they increased allocation. The governors bought rice, a lot of rice to share to their citizens.
But this is the thing. Why me and you are happy that the rice is reducing? Are the farmers happy? Who controls what how the farmers feeling? So it's dicey.
Right.
It's dicey.
Well, I like that. In spite of your membership of the APC, you are managing and really trying to stay objective, which is what you had promised me.
Yeah, I'm doing my best.
I see that you're doing your best. Absolutely. But let's also address the issue of this, because I apologize. I actually digressed. You were discussing the issue of the economic stability that we should expect. That's your thoughts before I had to mention this allocation to the government. Okay,
fine. On the economic stability, see, the thing about our dollar our naira being strong or not is not about
the volatility, right?
Yes, exactly. I'm a businessman. There was a time that I will bring in goods at a certain price and I want to sell, and the naira has gone so high, and I would think it's to my advantage. But eventually, after selling and I want to buy again, the naira is down and dollar is up, and you begin to you're confused. You don't at the point you don't even know if you're making profit or not. At the time you're eating to your capital and you're confused. So what Nigeria actually needed was stabilization of the economy, stabilization of the naira, and that is where we are now. By the grace of God, it's a plus or minus. There's a range you can work with, and you'll be fine. And I think this has happened due to his policies. And believe me, there was a time that individuals were richer than the state. Now the president, through his policies, have dragged out those funds and is circling among the...
In what way has it been dragged out?
Good. Let me explain to you. That those that were taking advantage of the naira.
Okay, the naira volatility.
Yes.
Right.
The fuel.
Right.
And he has... Okay, imagine paying people subsidy in trillions. Whether they are there or not, we don't even know.
Well, a lot of people will still ask you if we are still paying subsidy.
Whatever, but it can't be as it used to be.
So are we paying subsidy or not?
I don't know. I'm not involved. I don't know about that. A lot of people have speculated, but there's no proof.
Okay, there's no proof that we're not paying subsidy.
That we are paying. Don't do that. Don't do that.
But whether we're paying subsidy or not, and that is one of the arguments, do you think, looking back and all the economic problems we've had or challenges we've had, do you think that should have been proclaimed? You answer, I mean, the fuel subsidy announcement, but that response would be, should the president have missed, or rather, knowing what we know now, should the president have proclaimed at the end of the fuel subsidy regime? That's the question I asked my guest, Deji Mike Adebayo. Thank you again for being part of the program. Still discussing defections, understanding Nigeria's pulse. If the president, if you would you say, looking back now, and you had to advise the president, and you have a time machine that takes you back, would you advise the president not to make that statement? Knowing
what I know now, I might have not I might have advised him not to. But that is the thing about leadership. You have to just make a decision.
Right.
Knowing what I know now, I might have advised him not to do it.
Okay.
But that's okay. Create cautioning effects.
Right.
So that before you do this. But at the same time, we wouldn't have known what the outcome of that would have been until we experience it. Because this is how I see it too. If you create cautioning effects before the problem comes, people might not appreciate it.
Right.
Then also, people naturally begin to caution themselves when there are challenges. When there are no challenges, see, let me tell you, if rain doesn't fall, you won't appreciate the sun. Or if the sun doesn't shine, you won't appreciate cold. When you enjoy, if all through you're facing here is cold, you won't see how will I put it? Well, let me rephrase this.
No, but you're actually right.
Do you get what I'm saying?
If everywhere here is cold, you will not appreciate times when you had warmth. I get
exactly.
I get what you mean.
So if, for example, he didn't make that proclamation and he just created caution in effect, they eventually does the point. No, but they might not appreciate it.
Right.
Yeah. So that's another angle to it. I'm not siding him and I'm not against him. I'm just
Okay.
being objective here, like I promised. So moving further, probably if there was no proclamation of the end of story, Dangote might not have taken the speed it took. Good. And also, if you were saying a lot of speculation are going on that they are still paying subsidy. If they are paying subsidy to some shadow people, then we won't have this much money in our savings to share to states. Don't you think so?
But simultaneously, we are borrowing.
How much have we borrowed?
I mean,
compared to what we were borrowing in the last administration.
Oh, absolutely not. But I also do not expect that we should still be in deficit of infrastructure. The president just applied to borrow from the World Bank again, and of course our National Assembly is like, of course, sir.
But that was after we've paid our other debts. We've paid some debts.
Oh.
Are you aware of that or not? You're in the media. You tell me.
Of course, we are paying our debt. We are servicing our debt, but that is not. I would want. I personally, when I look at Nigeria's economy, I would want such. I'm a proud person, naturally.
Okay.
I would want a country that looks inward at all times instead of running out to get more debt and then service the debt, and it gives you. It doesn't give you a winning leverage. You are always going to be at the receiving end of everything. The countries, your counterparts, are never going to look at you as a country, as a counterpart. They are always going to be less because nobody gives to your counterpart. You're giving to people who are doing less than you are doing. So for our image sake, I, for one, do not think we should borrow. In spite of these tripled allowances to governors are still approaching international organizations, the IMF, other countries, for loans as well. So would you say that we have a good hang of our economy and we would actually be better off for it?
Well, the truth of the matter, if you ask me, and I think this is audible to the deaf and visible to the blind, that our economy...
You're such a politician.
No, it's not politics. I can't be playing politics with my future and the future of my children, because that's how I see it. You see, I think our economy is better off today than it used to be, if you ask me. Yes, if you ask me, because it's not about money going around and everywhere. It brings about inflation. I know all of that. You know, because of course I understand economics too, but it's about cost of living versus standard of living. Guess what? I've had trips to some other countries within Africa, and believe me, we are enjoying.
Oh, I know that.
Good.
I know that. I know that the price of PMS in other countries, you can't.
Do you understand? And it's not just even water. It's at the time, if you want to go, I had some friends that went for training in Ghana. And the first time they went, they came back, they were complaining. When they wanted to go, they had to buy bags and buy, as in a lot of packs of water. Because what we are buying here, $2.50, and we're complaining, they're buying it at $1.5.
Yeah.
And in the same vein, you come here, you change dollar, and you're living the life la vida loca. Go to, I'm using Ghana because they are, over the years, I've come to understand that Ghana is our closest by relationship, not by border, understand? Okay. But so I'm using them. So carry $100 and change it here. You enjoy yourself. Carry $100 and go to Ghana and change it. What did you just do?
Exactly.
Do you get what I'm saying? So I think we're still in the green zone. We have not gotten to the yellow, let alone red zone yet when it comes to our economy. And I think we should appreciate that. If that subsidy was not removed, who knows what we would have been facing today?
Right. You know, when comparisons are made, I also want to ask about the living conditions of the Ghanaians.
Okay.
You know, how much is there? What is whatever country you're comparing with? What is their minimum wage?
Okay.
What are they taking home?
Okay.
What are the infrastructures available to them? Okay. Should they fall ill now? Because another thing, I just have to rant. I just have to rant about our health sector.
Okay.
Our HMOs are killing Nigerians, but that's story for another day. One of these days, I'm going to have that conversation. But yes, if some of these countries you mentioned, if somebody falls ill right now, can you call paramedics? Can you call 911 if your child is stuck somewhere? Can you, those are those infrastructures that you can be sure of. Nigerians absolutely do not mind. Nigerians do not mind if they are sure of health. I've had conversations with diplomats who tell you my only concern is that there's no quick response for health.
Okay. Okay, let me now clear. You give me a little while to clear this.
Absolutely, but basically infrastructure.
No problem. Talking about infrastructure. First of all, for us to talk about infrastructure now, what is the population of Ghana versus Nigeria? What is the landmass of Ghana compared to Nigeria?
No, you can't even compare.
Good. So it takes time. So let me explain something to you. For anything we're doing, anybody is doing. Sure, if you're running an organization, the more the numbers. I know where you're going.
Where you're going with this.
Where am I going?
We have governors. If
you're not getting.
Cleans, I mean,
okay, are you blaming the governors or the president at this point in time?
No, I'm just talking about governance in all.
Yes.
If everyone cleans the front of their houses, the whole country will be clean.
Yeah.
So
everybody is involved.
Yes. In spite of no, I'm comparing it now.
Okay.
I'm comparing it now to our purchasing power as Nigerians.
Okay.
Our purchasing power, if you compare it to other countries in the world. I was in New York the other time and I was telling my friends in Nigeria that I know they drink water for air. Because how can I buy $5 bottle of water?
What's the cost of a house there? Let's go into real estate. Accommodation, what is it?
It's in thousands.
Good.
Thousands of dollars,
and
right?
Euros.
And euros. But that in that same vein, I can be airlifted should I fall ill.
Yes,
I am very sure that I can call the police at all times should I feel unsafe.
Yeah.
And you would get them, you will see them there in minutes as well.
Yeah.
There are several social amenities that are available to me. I can walk into any bank as not a resident now, but as a green card holder in America and get loans very easily. We'll have that conversation. So if you compare, and I'm saying that it's not rocket science. I'm sure Nigerians, we could be doing something about it. But do you see the pace? You say we are almost getting there. We're not there yet. But that pace, are we going to have our education sector, for instance, are we doing anything about it? ASU is threatening strike. Yeah. ASUP has told you not to go on strike. And there is almost no Nigerian that will tell you, oh, I went through the 4 years in my studies and not experienced a strike action. Unfortunately, we are still recording it today, now, yesterday, and all of that. And I'm sure if you see in the news tomorrow that ASU has eventually gone on strike, you won't say, oh, this is such an anomaly. You will say, it's one of those stories that we hear every time. So what are we doing in infrastructure so that our purchasing power would level up with countries that have better amenities for their people?
Okay, good. Now, let me just tell you some things. I appreciate for everything you've said. And I have to tell you that all hands has to be on deck for this to be achievable.
Absolutely, I agree.
You mentioned about loan. I assure you, no leadership in the history of Nigeria has given out loan as much as this administration is doing.
It's not the government's business to give out loans in the very first place. We should enable financial institutions to give out loans.
That is where the government comes in, enabling the financial institution. They have been enabled.
Oh, okay.
I assure you.
Because one of the initiatives you keep hearing government, and the Buhari administration was just as complicit in this, is, oh, we gave out loans. Some of them weren't even trackable loans. I could not for the life of me understand. When COVID came, we gave out grants, and then later it became loans because people's accounts were being frozen. NISA was doing that. So yeah, it's not government's business. What are you doing to ensure that there are at least one digit interest loans for MSMEs that drive the economy?
Which is what I'm saying now. I think it's a rigorous process, and we shall eventually get there if we keep enlightening ourselves. And I must tell you something, the media has a larger role to play in all of this. Yes, enlightening the people. Right. Because if you don't know these things, you can't approach them and get them. Like, I was talking to, last year I had the opportunity to meet the Minister of Youth, and he was saying, what we youths in Nigeria do is go online, and all we do is rant.
Right.
We don't get involved in the process or question the system.
Right.
Do you understand? So if for example, there are a lot of scholarship out there for people to get, but nobody is demanding for it. The government won't bring a system and say, okay, there's scholarship here and still bring it to your doorstep. It's
Absolutely.
up to you now to rise up and say, okay, can I get this? This is available. Bank of Agri is there. Bank of Industry is there. They're there. They have grants. They have facilities for people to use and use for the general good of everybody. But nobody's approaching them for it. That is why you begin to hear, he's giving it to his brother. Who do we give it to when you are not coming for it? Do you get what I'm saying? So now, the solution to all of this, we need to begin to learn to enlighten ourselves, teach ourselves these things, so that we now begin to exploit them to the advantage of everybody. But unfortunately, policies cannot easily be made in this country because we are dynamic. When we're comparing ourselves to other countries, we should see that. You can't go to the UK and be claiming one tribe. You can't go to the US and be claiming a tribe. Because everything they do is across, but they don't care about your religion, your tribe, or state of origin.
Right.
This is for the general well-being of everybody. When we talk of patriotism, we are more loyal to ourselves first, our family, our tribe, our religion, before we talk of the country.
Right.
How do we progress that way? But I am not individually blaming anybody. At the end of the day, most people are victims of what they have met. But I expect leadership also. Leadership have their role to play. Individuals have their role to play. We must find a way to meet these things. If you ask me, I hold strong grudge against the National Orientation Agency because they don't seem to be doing that for us. You get? But talking of infrastructure, it's not the presidency, it's the states. If you see what's happening today, is the minister that is doing that, and that is where it starts. There's something called concurrent, residual, and what is it? The other one, three lists,
Right.
where there are some things that both the state and the government and the state and the presidency is involved, where the state and the local government, or where only the government, the local government is involved. Yeah. So we must learn this thing. We must teach ourselves this, so that we know how to channel our challenges. Let me give you an example. The Wuye Bridge, when our minister Wike did it, a lot of people were shouting and ranting, that bridge was slated for about 30-something billion, and when landed did it for 7-something billion. The question is, after ranting, who writes a petition against the minister, against the Federal Road Maintenance Agency, against the construction company? Who writes? Nobody is doing that. We just talk and walk away. Guess what? Another governor will go ahead. People are also blaming why he's doing the road construction for trillions. Nobody is challenging him. Believe you me, if you write a petition, I write a petition, he writes a petition,
it will get the attention, right.
Yeah. So we can't keep just blaming by virtue of just talking. We have to be active. We can't always be passive about it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes. So I challenge the media.
Right.
Let's share ideas, create platforms, let people learn, let people teach. The lawyers can come and speak. The doctors can come to tell you, okay, you're talking about medical facility, how do you get? There's a private hospital I'm aware of in Dugbe. What's the name of that big estate? I've forgotten it. That hospital, just have their number. Call them, even if you're in, I don't know where it's more further. Okay, let's say you're in Maraba, call them, they'll come and pick you up.
They'll carry paramedics.
They will come.
For the Nigerian population that I'm talking about.
Yes.
You know,
I'm giving you an example.
I'm asking if certain members of the Nigerian population can afford that.
No, we all can't afford it now.
Right.
Of course, now,
right.
of course.
And
guess
I'm
what?
talking about. I am talking about, for instance, certain individuals who may not be able to afford that public private hospital.
Okay.
Talking about everyone. I also have been a beneficiary of a system that worked. So I know what can happen if the system had failed for a split second. But now we are running out of time, so I appreciate what you talked about, youth awareness.
Beautiful,
you know,
very important.
you are a strong youth advocate for inclusion. So how politically aware and ready do you think Nigerian youth are, as we approach 2027? And what do you think we should start doing? I mean, it's just 2 years, less than 2 years to the presidential elections.
Believe in me, what I see and hear out there, we are politically unready, as in the youth are politically unaware of a lot of things. They don't even know where our power starts, let them know where it ends. A lot of people just feel, Nigeria has happened to me, and they embrace it and take it away.
I have no idea what that means. If anything, if Nigeria happens to you, is it a good thing?
It's mostly in the negative. It's mostly in the negative.
But I mean, I look at it positively. If Nigeria happens to you, it's a good thing. We live in a beautiful country.
Yeah, we do. In a country where if we really want things to work, they'll work.
Yes.
Okay, may I so rest in peace, the last presenter. Because of the energy that was behind that incident, the police were forced to work.
And
Do we have a result today?
Of course.
Good.
Before you could say Jack Robinson,
The
their
answers,
perpetrators were caught.
Because of the energy that was behind that, it gives results, didn't it?
It did.
Whether it's affecting us negatively now or not, it's sorry for another day. But we got it. Now, this is it. I always tell my youth, my fellow people, or wherever that, if we want to go against something or for something, let's be objective. Let me tell you why the NSAS work. We were calling the IG. We were not calling presidency. We were not calling Nigerian police. We were calling the IG. And he knew among all fingers was pointing.
Exactly.
He had to put his works together.
Absolutely.
President to the president, and something was done. We started failing when we started generalizing and say, okay, the our leaders must go, Abi, the presidency must go.
Exactly.
A lot of people that are in the shadows are aware of what you're trying to do and they're benefiting. They will fight back.
Absolutely.
Do you get what I'm saying? If we start shouting today that Shetima, you had the problem, we want to see, and he will come out or he will find a way to cushion
address that issue.
That is how it should be. My suggestion, I'm not saying, I'm just
so
sharing.
At what point would we build such institutions that, you know, we don't have to exhaust ourselves crying out? Because where you want to start, where you want to end.
The process is good, though. We just have
sectors that need reforms and need to be really, really, really looked at. So how can we ensure that it's a bit more seamless, is holistic? These reforms are holistic. Our security architecture is getting better simultaneously. And, you know, I loved this president when he came on board and the charge that he gave the ministers. But over the years, it's almost just lip service. We've seen a lot of people shoveled here and there, some removed and all of that. I wanted more because in agriculture, for instance, which could be the mainstay of our economy, and the potentials are bound. We're not seeing anything. We have several other sectors that I would want, if you ask me, I would want us to do better. There's no reason why our education sector will not be one attracting education tourism across Africa and maybe even around the world, because there's nothing wrong. There's the health sector too is another place to look at. I mean, what just to make me understand why you would leave Nigeria to go get medical help and you go there and it's a Nigerian doctor. The same Nigerian doctors you did not trust to do it. It's because facilities here are not, you know. So we need a holistic reform or one that does not stress Nigerians. It's okay, your gutters are bad. Let us move our attention again and pressure this local government chairman. Oh, okay. So we don't have chairs in our primary and nursery schools. Okay, let us move. How can it be holistic?
My dear, the two of my mother, this is achievable.
You just sounded very despondent.
Yes. Let me tell you, a lot is achievable, but a lot also needs to be done. Let me explain to you, right? You see, the truth of the matter is, a lot of us, our mind has been damaged. We don't trust the system. Everybody just want to grab for himself, and that is it. But this is the thing. For example, in the medical, talking of the medical related issues, I think the government came up with NHIS or something like that. It is not today. That thing has been on for more than 15, 20 years. To the best. But how many of us are, one, aware of it, making good use of it, and calling those managing it accountable? You see, we are used to having, let the association take charge of this, let the association take charge of this, but individually, we're not really pressing. That's why you see, like, the ASUNA can call for strike for probably good reasons, right? But someone that knows how to meet with the chairman or the vice chairman or talk to the secretary and push one or two things to them, they begin to fight the system from inside the system.
Right.
Because they know once they destabilize this association, no individual group can come again.
Right.
So we have to get to a level where we can begin to disabuse our minds and fight for what we think is right. For me, I've had to personally fight for against police brutality. And eventually I became a member of the PCRC and they gave me chairmanship, but that's not going to deter me, because ordinarily another person will say, I'm not with the police, so make it. No, I was still going to fight. And I'm not fighting just against the police, anything that has to do with the force. Yes, people are force. Don't use force on the civilians. There has to be a divide. That is another story for another day.
Exactly.
So if we have other people, like, permit me to say VDM, for example, doing what he has to do, and we have another person like Shewore, we have Deji, and we have different people fighting. They say nobody is perfect. They have room to make mistakes. But if we have other people, these guys are working at this level, these people are working on top of them, these people are working on top of them, not government plan. individually, individual forces, we'll get there. We'll get there. The government can't take charge of everything.
I agree.
Yes, and there's room for mistake too. Like the first subsidy, some people see it as mistake, some people see it as good, but it has to be done. Things have to be done. So we can't always say, because there's some things we do here in Nigeria, the government do, or some individuals do, that when it happens, it is the people on the street that will fight back first. How many Nigerians are when everybody thinking of their children, their family, my next door, my next meal for tomorrow.
Right.
And that is really so. But first of all, I think that's why I'm particular about the National Orientation Agency. Disabusing the mind of Nigerians, we're giving them that confidence in the system. The political class of those days have abused us mentally because they feel politics is not for us. They feel you have to amass a lot of wealth to join politics. They feel you have to have a godfather somewhere to be in the system.
They don't feel, but that's
they've created it now. So the youth are feeling that way. They've painted that picture for us. So a lot of people are like, politics. So if I'm talking to some of my youths, my colleagues or my friends, they'll be like, politics, they tell this politician. They now begin to see. Some people see as guy, you did your lane, I did our lane. Just what I'm saying. Okay, let me give you an example during the NSAS briefly. I went and I was a part of the NSAS. And at the point, okay, for the sake of smoothness, we were working. People wanted to drive and pass. We stopped the people from moving. While some have gone, cash will pass.
Right.
Then we asked them to come. Suddenly, somebody just shouted, "Honorable." From the mention of that honorable, everybody just thought that, who is honorable? Somebody now pointed me. They all say, I shouldn't control traffic again because I'm a politician. Am I not a youth? So, it's part of the issues.
Right.
Yes, people's mind are just, this is how this is how they look at it, and that is it. They're not seeing the bigger picture.
Black or white. There are no gray areas.
There are no other colors.
I mean, I can understand.
It is well.
It doesn't matter the good intentions you have.
Yeah.
The perception is what has taken place. But finally, in the final analysis, as someone that's deeply involved in youth development and politics as well, what would you, in terms of advising the Nigerian youth, I mean, in about 30 seconds, what would you advise the Nigerian youths to do as they are watching this political landscape evolve? Okay,
I was just going to advise you that get involved in the system, not necessarily in politics, but in the day-to-day affairs of our country.
Absolutely.
You might be a financial consultant, you might be a medical person, you can be a lawyer, you can even be a mechanic or a technician. Just get involved and look at things from the positive, from the realistic, objective part of life, because positive is not always good. Yes, right. But if you look at things from a very objective position, leave religion, leave culture, leave tradition, leave boundaries, admiring imaginary boundaries. This is my state, that's your state. No, just let's work together and we'll get somewhere.
Let's work together. Has been Dr. Deji Mike right there, talking about how you too can be part of governance, join political parties, contribute your best as well, and let's collectively make Nigeria work. But this is where we end today's edition of Joya Saying Live. We'll be back next time. Have yourself a wonderful, wonderful evening.